so the role of the individual then is both in terms of the sort of internal and external, because we are what we do. And that's kind of the point I was getting to at the end, is that the environments that we're in shape us, but we also shape our environments. And so I think as a social scientist, you know, my training is to look at how the social forces get under the skin, into our worldviews. But the flip side of that is that people create environments. People are institutions. People are societies. Those aren't entities that exist outside of human agency and action. So if there is this reciprocal relationship, it means what you do and think has the potential to shape what's around you. And so my view is that we all have a sphere of influence. Sometimes we think, oh, that's where the powerful people are, over there, right? It's the people deciding the policy, or the people running this company or this institution. And in only seeing power as residing in certain arenas and certain tiers of society, in some ways we give up our own power, our own ability to influence. So whether you are a parent at a playground most of the day, you know, looking at preschoolers and watching your child play, that is a sphere of influence. In fact, I would say that that is ground zero for seeding many of the old ways of thinking and potentially the new ways of thinking. And so the playground as a site of influence, we often don't associate that as a space of power, right? But that is where we're actually beginning to mold how children see one another. And you can ask many parents, many Black parents in particular, who have seen their children rejected first at playgrounds, and preschoolers playing. And so lest we think that that is not actually affected by these larger forces, we're wrong. And so part of what we have to do, perhaps now that many of us are forced to pull back from the busyness of everyday life, is to think about, what is our sphere of influence? So that's a one part of it. But then I don't want to end there and just you know, assume that all we are is individuals. The last thing I'll say is that we really want to think about how to harness the power of collective action and community life, that we don't only see ourselves as free-floating individuals, what I think changes the world, what the world changes me, but how we harness our ways of relating with one another. And that's where I talked about community life as a laboratory, because you can believe all kinds of things, you know, people should treat each other fairly, people should look at each other with, you know, through a lens of dignity and worth. But you can have all those great ideas floating up your head. But until you get into the everyday, you know, sort of back and forth of community life, your beliefs are just theories. They have to be tested through interaction, through conflict, through possible disunity, you know? And so we want to think about how community life and interacting with people offers an opportunity to test our lofty beliefs. If you say that you are prejudice-free, that is, you know, you can't really say that unless it's tested with people you don't like. And so what does that look like? And so I think we want to also think about, once we leave this moment of social distancing, to think about what it looks like to test our beliefs in interaction and in community life.